Good evening, children. This is Shikha Sharma, your social science mentor, and today's video deals with the resource planning, its need, and the process. Okay? Resource planning. Now, before I start the discussion on resource planning, I would like to ask you all, can you imagine your lives without resources? Like, say, without water, without coal? For that matter, in fact, without microorganisms? No. Why? Because our survival is based upon the existence of resources. In fact, nature has bestowed resources upon us so that humans can transform them and make their lives better. But resources are limited in nature. They are important. Need is there, but they are limited in nature. And plus, there is diversity in the availability of resources. Now, this diversity in the availability is across the world. Few regions have particular resources like Urrar Valley, coal, and India. If you take, for that matter, Odisha, so it has bauxite. So there is availability, and availability is diverse. Few regions have few particular resources. So keeping in mind these factors, we need to have a proper planning. What is planning? If I ask you, what do you mean by this term planning? So planning means thinking about the activities to achieve a certain goal. Now, what is our goal here? To develop the resources. But we know the resources are finite in nature. So then what should we do? We have to plan them. Why? For the judicious utilization of resources. Resource planning is required. And this judicious utilization, why judicious use? So that the benefits should be distributed equally among all sections of the society. No rich, no poor, which should be the purpose of every government as well. Now, the process of resource planning. For the judicious utilization of the resources, we need to have planning of the resources so that we can develop them accordingly. So, what is the first step? The identification and inventory of resources across the regions. What do you mean by this word inventory? Just making a list or stock of whatever you have. Inventory of the resources. And this involves surveying, mapping, qualitative and quantitative estimation. That means in how much quantity that reserve is there and in how much, what is the quality of that resource. For example, take the example of iron ore. See, iron ore is available here also. This is Bellary, Chikmagalur, Tumakuru district, like region, and Kudremukh mine is here. Iron ore is here. And similarly here, Durg, Chandrapur, Basta region, here also iron ore is there. But this is of finer quality. So, qualitative estimation as well. Second one, a plan structure. That how will you be utilizing? Do you have the skills? Do you have the required technology? Do you have the institutions supporting for the same? Like banks are there. Will banks be able to provide credit to the enterprises who will be working for the development of the required resources? And then you'll have this development plan with you. And this development plan should match with the National Resource Development Plan. Like what the nation is planning accordingly, keeping in mind the population, the availability, the quality, quantity, etc. Now take the example of tag board. I ask you, prepare a tag board. What will you do? You will just open the cupboard. You will see what all chart papers you have. You will tell me, ma'am, we have blue, black and red is there. Ma'am, maybe go in other classes to ask for the same. We need this base, we need few handmade sheets and all that. I'll say, okay, fine. Then you'll start preparing. Based on the skills, you'll say, okay, Yashika, you're good in sketching. You do the sketching part. Tanisha, you make the borders. Khushi, you give us the idea. And boys will be making the other tag board. Astha, Navya, what you do? You please manage and make us the chart papers available. So your plan structure. And then your theme, finally, what are you going to make? Based on the availability, the skills. And that should match with the theme of the tag board. Okay.